Alright, so here's the latest. If you can see this. Basically same as before. I got one battery going to the H-bridge. Same batteries controlling the coil sorting. Bidirectional MOSFETs, sources hooked up together. Also going to 0 volts. Off the secondary of the transformer through a bridge. I'm manually doing this part right now just by hand. I'm tapping it into a cap and tapping it into a resistor to discharge it. I got a 1.2 microfarad polypropylene cap. So I'm set at 250 microseconds per division. I'm about 1.2 kilohertz. I'm gonna guess somewhere around 25% duty cycle, maybe a little more, maybe 50%. So right now the scope is hooked up to the gate of right here. Gates are the low ones. I'll go on. What I ended up doing was this LED coming off this driver and this driver, those are now opto, so that diode is inside the opto, and the rest of the circuit's the same aside from running off of 12 volts, no snubbers. Going to this, I think it's Ron's 4047 and 4093 coil sorting circuit. So that same battery is running that 5 volt. I don't believe I need the diode anymore because I'm not triggering off the primary. But this is set up the same way. So this would be an opto, the transistor side of it. This would be another opto. The diode side of it would have been hooked up to those gates on the H bridge. So I just put the two transistor sides in parallel so that when one fires, I can pull this down, pull the cap down. Then when the other one fires, I can pull it down. So they're both always equal. It's just the duration or pulse width that changes, so it fires fine, dead center every time. So good there. Just basically added another 12 volt regulator driver, bidirectional MOSFETs. You've seen it on another portion, hooked up to the secondary of the transformer. So I'll show you the other gate of the 3525, I think it is. So we're at 1.2 kilohertz. I'm going to go on that was on the H bridge. I'm going to go to the coil sorting board, go on the gate of that. I'll turn it on. So you see I can delay that as much as I want. Push it forward. I'm going about dead center in it. Wind it up, bring it down, put it wherever I want it. Fine. I'll turn it off. Okay. So now what I did was I put some Schottky diodes. I don't remember what size they are. They're like good up to 1,000 volts and 3 amps, I think, or something like that. I'm not sure if the MUR ones will make a difference, but this is what I got for now. So there's that transformer Sean said he was using to the bridge, to the coil sorting. Then off the DC side of the bridge, I got going to this polypropylene cap. So manually just tapping it on there and then discharging it through the resistor. So I'll show you what I got when I fire it up. So right now I have my scope leads on the secondary of the transformer. So that's what it looks like right now. I'm going to turn on the coil sorting. You can see I get more peaks, but this is 10 volts per division, so even with shorting, I'm not getting anywhere near 500-600 volt peaks. I mean, what would that be? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe 80. And turn it off. And you can watch the amp draw on the meter. Down here, I'm at whatever, 100 milliamps or something. Turn on the coil sorting. Doesn't really affect it much. Little bit. I mean, that could just be the driver, who knows, but it's very tiny. Turn it off. Turn it back on. Now, if you watch the amp draw, when I turn up the coil sorting, you can see it starts to climb. So I tend to turn it down pretty low, and I just start noticing it coming up. That's when I leave it. Up, back on. Okay, now we're going to turn it off and we're going to fill up this cap. So I'm going to move my scope leads to the capacitor. So right now 0 volts in there. I'm going to tap it to fill it up. And we got 20 volts somewhere around there. I'm going to sort it out. I'm going to turn on the coil sorting. I'm going to tap it. We get 29, 25, 28. Not even. Sort it out. So 23, 26, 21, 26, 20, somewhere in there. It's hard to get a good estimate, but I'm going to turn off the coil sorting. And it's not much different. I mean, a little bit. I'll sort it out again. I'm going to widen the sorting a little bit more. Duration of the coil sorting. So that's without 22, 25, 24. I'm going to sort the cap out, turn on the coil sorting, .36, and that's after widening the coil sorting pulse width a little bit, just a hair. So it does up it a little bit, but then you sacrifice amperage on the other side, on the primary side. So I'll sort that out again. Now, even if I hold it on to the cap to fill it up, it never gets any higher. I mean, you can see it's at 40, 41, 44, 42, 40, 43, 38. If I let it off now, I mean, I would assume it'll drop a little bit just because you're going to have some resistance on the scope. But it's still not much. Nowhere near a few hundred volts, whatever Sean's said he gets, and I think Doug said his go up real high too. So I'm going to sort it out. Turn off the coil sorting again, fill it one more time. 25 volts, 24, 25, and sort it out. Turn the coil sorting back on. Fill the cap, 38 volts. Sorted. Now you can see my coil sorting is still on. You can see the amperage right there. I'm at about 100 milliamps. So I'm going to turn it off. It drops, you know, I don't know, 10 milliamps or something. It's very minimal. So I can see how the coil sorting helps and puts a very minimal, if any, load on the primary. If you get it short enough to not affect the primary and long enough to at least do some damage and ringing. So there's a little balancing point there, and it's not too hard to find that once you can dial it in. But the problem is I'm still not getting anywhere near a few hundred volts in there. I mean, from 25 to 35 volts, that's not really anything impressive. So I'm not sure where to go from here. I got everything working, and again, still doesn't work. So any suggestions, let me know. Thanks.